I'm a selective clean freak. I mean, on one hand, there's stuff like this, but on the other hand, I've got spots like this. So yeah, very selective. But the things I do care to keep clean, I really care about. And in this video, I'll share the 5 tools I use to quell those OCDs, beginning with this. The things I use and touch every day are where cleanliness matters most to me. And since my computer gets a lot of hand time, migrating between my desk, the metal fab shop, coffee shops, client offices, stuff gets into the keyboard. And where I used to buy these one-time use cans of compressed air, they're shockingly expensive compared to now having this USB-C rechargeable air blaster. The amount of throughput and thrust on this thing is impressive. 150,000 RPM is insane, packing a gigantic 6,000 mAh battery. It's operated by pressing and holding the button on the back to turn it on, and then pressing and holding the trigger button on the front for use. The button on the back is also used to cycle through 3 power settings indicated by 3 blue LEDs, which comes in very handy since when I'm doing things like cleaning the delicate sensor on my cameras, I definitely don't want that insane max power. The bottom has these 4 blue LEDs that indicate battery level, and again being USB-C rechargeable, it's just night and day when it comes to cost compared to disposable cans. Look, if you don't already use compressed air for cleaning, I do not think there's any reason for you to even consider this. But if you do, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer for your wallet alone. And like everything else we'll explore in this video, I've linked it down in the description in case you want to research it more for yourself. Moving on to the next tool, it's not actually technically a tool, but when it comes to screens, nothing I've tried even comes close, and I am very OCD with my screens. It pains me that I did not clean my computer screen for almost a month to make this video, but look at this disgusting condition. I first heard of Whoosh Screen Shine almost a decade ago when my girlfriend at the time worked at the Apple Store, and at least back then, it's what they used each night to clean all of the screens that got touched by hundreds of people throughout the day. Comes in all sorts of sizes where in the bookshelf behind me, I keep this gigantic spray bottle, but I also have these smaller bottles where this medium one stays in the glove box of my car, and this tiny one in the drawer of my bedside table. Depending on the size of bottle you get, they also ship with various sizes of microfiber cloths. While I usually do this every 3 or 4 days, this has been collecting grime for almost a month, so I guess this is a good real test. Okay, step 1. After the computer is shut down, take the microfiber cloth, fold it in half, and do a dry wipe to first remove dust and other particles. And hey, if you got that duster gun, I guess you can use that in combination here too. Step 2, spray 3 or 4 times on the other side of the cloth without the dust you just wiped off, and just get to work. There are no rules on whether to work in circles, go back and forth, or any other method. Because of how long I let the dirt accumulate though, I'll do an extra step of unfolding and refolding the microfiber cloth in the other direction, get another 3 to 4 sprays, and do another few passes. Once that's done, I'll get one of the smaller cloths and just dry it off. And boom, look at that. Tilting around, you can see the results. It's night and day. This is a 2021 computer that's been through a lot, and it's basically showroom condition now. Moving on to the next tool, we've got the Dremel Versa. This one's going to be real short and simple. I live in an almost 30-year-old apartment building here, and the original melamine countertops in my bathroom get so dirty so fast. Sunday afternoons are my bathroom cleaning time, so when I clean, spray on the cleaner to the counter and just get to scrubbing. It's very satisfying because the porous, older melamine countertop traps stains so easily, yet this thing just blasts through stains like no one's business. Also, a quick side note, one way to avoid serious nastiness is with simple, shallow trays. These Amazon Basics ones let me keep my soap, face wash, other stuff in them so they get grimy instead of the counter, and they're a lot easier to wash than the countertop. Continuing on to tool number 4, it's a small, easy dump vacuum cleaner. When there's dust or crumbs, it can feel extra cumbersome to break out a full-size broom or full-size vacuum cleaner. But this countertop vacuum by Shark is something I use every day. One of the most impactful questions I've learned to ask myself is, what would make this easy, whatever this happens to be? Keeping a consistently clean coffee table felt like too much friction, until asking myself, what would make this easy, revealed that being able to have a lightweight, rapid deploy vacuum that also empties with a push of a button is what makes it easy for me. Might not do it for you, but that's the point. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. Figure out what'll make a desired outcome easy, or at least easier for you, instead of solely trying to beat discipline into everything you're trying to accomplish. But next up is much more niche, and it's this ultrasonic cleaner by Crewworks. I love my watches, but as I said earlier, you already know that I sweat so fast and so much, it's absolutely disgusting. And a byproduct of that is that very gross grime eventually builds up on my watches. This Seiko SPB 377 has gotten by far the most wrist time this year. It was my daily watch for my half-year work trip from January to June in sweltering heat and humidity. And to give you an idea of how much I sweat, look at the grime buildup on the case from just the past 2 weeks. Ew. Gross. So this ultrasonic cleaner I typically only use once a month, but when I do break it out, everything that makes sense to go in gets a deep clean. Watches I've worn, even my glasses, even stuff like my Leatherman charge. I mean, look at this filth on the blade and in the jaws. So step 1, toss in a cap full of solution, and by the way, some folks choose to put dish soap, while other tasks just straight up filtered water is more than enough. Step 2, fill up with water without exceeding the maximum fill line. Step 3, get the stuff to be cleaned into the basket and then get the basket into the cleaner. Step 4, turn it on. Step 5, set the temperature, which in general, to be completely safe, at least with watches, I keep it at about 105 Fahrenheit or about 40 Celsius. And step 6, set the timer and let her go. I typically set it for just 10 minutes. While it's doing its thing, the cool thing about these cleaners is that it uses sound waves, hence ultrasonic, to agitate water to the point where they generate cavitation bubbles that make tiny shock waves as they pop, causing dirt and grime to be blasted off. Taking the items out and letting them dry, we can see now before on the left and after on the right. It is incredible. This is obviously not something most people would even consider, but that's, again, the point of this video. Whether you're a clean freak, selective clean freak, or not a clean freak at all, figure out your own desired results, especially those that seem like a lack of discipline are the points of failure. When you're struggling to force yourself to do the things you need to do to stay consistent with what matters to you, oftentimes very affordable tools can turn what felt like an uphill battle against discipline into a frictionless, easy constant. But none of this matters if the challenges or goals you're trying to solve have you feeling stuck and unmotivated because there's just no forward momentum. And to see what's finally helped me thread those difficult needles of being stuck, you will definitely want to watch this video right up here. If you're feeling lucky though, this video down here is the one for you. I'll leave them both on screen for a few seconds so you can choose which one to watch next, but while you're deciding, consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos just like this one drops.